The best thing about this is this. And once an animal's caught, they break free from the unit, and a lot of times they'll just stay in the ground. Hi, today I'm going to show you how to set up a bear pen set. We're going to pretend like there's bait back here, and I'm going to do a cubby set. Now we could do it the old-fashioned way with this, where you have to dig a hole, bend this down, worry about getting hit, or we could like to catch 1,000 unit, they'll catch anything from coyotes to bears. Usually I like to dig down just a little bit and make the select catch even. With bears, it's not quite as important. You can set it on top of the ground if you were in a hurry or something, and kind of build up sticks around it. But for this set, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take a little bit off the top to where I can bring the select catch down. Okay, what I've done here is I just kind of knocked some of the grass out, laid my select catch in there. The main thing is you want to make sure that that bear is going to step on that before he reaches your bait. So it depends on how big your bait is, how far out you want to go. But just keep in mind that they step here, they can really reach out. If they can grab the bait right there, they'll pull it right over your snare. After it's put in place, place your 5 spikes into the ground. This will help keep the unit where it's at once the snare detaches and the bear is caught. Comfortable? So your snare is attached to your cable. This will be about the right length. After your snare has been placed around your 4 vertical wires and your safety nails in place, put your red keeper in the red trigger sled, the black keeper in the black hole. There's another hole on the other side, so you can set this from either side. One thing you do not want to do is have your cable twisted. You want your cable going in a circular flow and not kink like this for the snare to function properly. Make sure after all is in place, your safety nail is removed and your red trigger keeper is pressed firmly down into the trigger sled. Put on the trigger housing cover. Make sure this end towards snare, the wedge is in the right place, because that's what lifts up when the trigger block hits it. There we go. Now we're ready to cover the snare. Take some grass, leaves, whatever, and cover your trigger housing, but no grass in the snare area. If grass gets between the snare and the animal's foot, they could slip out. Cover the housing and around the snare well, but leave the pan area open. I like to put a little fine dirt or whatever on top of that. I usually put wax paper down first also. But cover that up and it gives a nice spot for the bear to put his foot. See where your wires are and make sure there's no sticks or anything stuck around the snare there. Now you're ready to block in your snare. Remember to have it far enough back that if you've got a bait in that V shape, that they're not going to reach the bait before they step on your snare. Sticks are put in place. I like to wire things, except on the stick towards the trigger housing, because you want that free to let the trigger housing come up once the animal steps in it. Some people like to use sticks coming this way, that however it works to block it in good and solid where the bear is going to put their foot in. Okay, what I've done is I've blocked around the snare, felt where the wires were, got as close as I could without interfering with the cable coming up. I made like a little stepping place here. You can figure about a bear stride. So he's going to step here. I want to try to put his right paw in there, so the left paw goes here, right there. Got another little spot for him on the other side, so as he's going towards that bait, that's what he's looking at, and that's where he'll step. This method can also be done on a trail set. You got a trail going, set your sticks up in the trail just to make it to where they can step over and they won't step on any cable when it goes off. So if everything works right, your left paw goes there, the right one goes there, and the bear's caught, and it disconnects from the unit. And most of the time the bear will work around here and the unit will stay in place most of the time. As you see, this unit is very simple to set. No big holes to dig down, and especially in the rocky ground, it's pretty tough. The tension device there keeps from having to put sticks and guessing if you've got enough
weight pressure for that to go off or not go off or whatever, so something else step on it. This takes a lot of the guessing out of it. So on our snares, all snares sent to Maine, where it's the law. They have a deer stop on there. It goes down so far, stops, a deer can pull his foot out. Upon request, we can do that to anybody else. Normally, if you're doing a pen set with a bait, you don't have to worry so much about deer as you would if you were going to set on a trail. So all in all, this is it. This is a unit, and it's pretty wonderful.